Good morning. How are you? Happy hump day. It's Wednesday. Beautiful morning. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going to wait for a few people to jump on, give them a good welcome, and go ahead and get started. So, how are you? I'm so excited you're here. I'm a little wired this morning. I am on my second cup of coffee. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Hi, Kelly. Oh, beautiful Wednesday. Beautiful. Let me know you're here. Give me a quick hi. Let me know you can hear me. Hi, Becca. Hi, Andy. Go ahead and drop a comment. Say good morning. Hey, Kelly. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Every time I say it like that, I think of the movie Remember the Titans, where they're coming out on that team camp, and he's like, good morning, good morning, good morning. And they're about to go on that, 5-mile run. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good. How does he say that? I think he has a different tone, but it's the same kind of beat. Hey, Holly, how are you? So I think of that every time I say that. Thanks, Kelly. I literally just put that cream in it and went. My bangs don't curl very well, so I always pin them back or pin them to the side, or I usually have to diffuse them. So I was like, screw it. I'm getting ready in 10 minutes this morning. So slapped on some lip liner. I'm kind of obsessed with lip liner right now being my only lip color. It stays on longer. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. If this is your first time joining me, I would love for you to drop a comment and say this is your first time. Welcome. My name is Kristen Woodman. I'm coming to you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma on this beautiful morning. And it's hump day for those of you that are working. So you're halfway there. Keep going. Hey, Aaron. So, but let me know you're here. If you're watching replay, welcome. Let me know that you're watching replay so that I can come by and say hello to you and thank you for joining. So, this morning has been a little bit difficult, and I just wanted to share with you something that I've struggled with for a very long time. And hey, Aaron, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Something that I've struggled with for a very long time that really had control over me for many, many years growing up. Hey, Shiloh, how are you? Welcome, Sarah. And so I just wanted to come with you because I'm sure a lot of you might be struggling with the same thing. So sharing is caring, so I'm here to share with you. And if at any time you find value in this video and you click share, just type the word share. I would love to say thank you. And I appreciate it so much when you guys share. And so many of you here have shared some of my videos that you've watched. So that's awesome, Shiloh. I'm so glad you're doing well. Hey, Gail. So anyway, this is something that I find extremely important that you immediately eliminate it from your life, because it really does take a toll on you. And I am 100%, completely transparent that this is something that I really struggled with. And for those of you that have been following my story, thank you. But for those of you that haven't heard my story, I have, awesome, Holly, thank you. I appreciate it. And for those of you that may or may not know my story, I shared a video of what I struggled with and my apprehensions joining this business. And probably about 6 weeks ago. Hey, Noelle, how are you? And I grew up with, I had a difficult time growing up. Long story short, I always felt that, I always felt that promises were made but never kept. And so I just found myself really creating a bitterness in my heart. And, my dad passed away 6 years ago. He was an addict. He struggled with addiction his whole life, and not his whole life, but my whole life that I knew him. He struggled with addiction. And so if any of you have ever struggled with addiction, or you have an addict in your family, you know that promises are made that they're going to quit. And, I realized my dad was an addict at 11 years old, so 17 years ago. And I really didn't understand it. honestly, I never really understood addiction until a few years ago. Not that I'm an addict, but I kind of got a glimpse of it. When I cut sugar out of my life, I was like this giant green monster of a person that wanted sugar. So, and I know that has nothing compared to other addictions, but that's about the only taste I've ever had. Hey, Cammie. Hey, Sherry. Welcome, Tiffany. Welcome, Kristen. So, my dad used to promise that he would quit. My mom would even promise that she would quit smoking. So it's not just my dad. My mom would always say, yeah, I'm going to quit. Yeah, I'm going to quit. Every time the new year came around, hey, Madison, how are you? Every time the new year came around, it was always, yeah, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit these things. And, you know, as a kid, we believe our parents. We believe that what they're going to say, morning. And it was just, you know, it was such a big letdown in the beginning when they would quit and then I would see them doing it again. And so I just started slowly creating this bitterness in my heart that was very toxic to my life. I mean, I was an angry child. I struggled with anger. That was like my only outlet emotion. I mean, I probably to some people came across as a spoiled bitch, but I was so angry in my heart. I had no way of outletting it. I had nobody to talk to. I really had nobody to share with. And I just thought that I was so ungrateful. I didn't understand gratitude or grace or forgiveness. And so this morning, I got a little taste of that. And I won't go into major detail because my profile is public. So the person that I'm going to share about, you guys will probably figure it out. But I'm not here to bash anybody, but I just wanted to share, I haven't felt like this in a very long time. And until I became a wife and a mother of stepchildren, I did not understand or have a grasp of what blended families are. And I am part of a blended family. I have 3 stepchildren. They do not live with us. And they live in Philadelphia and with their mom. And so, you know, if any of you are part of a blended family, you understand there are expenses, there are things, and things can just get nasty. Oh my gosh, it's just nasty. And I'm not going to talk bad about her, but greediness is setting in. And for me, I live with my husband. He's one of the most nicest, loving, giving men that I have ever come across in my life. He's patient, he's kind, he's so forgiving. And I know the divorce took a toll on him. He got divorced. He went through a traumatic, something traumatic, and maybe I'll have him get on here and share that story with you because it really plays a testament into our relationship. And how strong we are and how relatable we are because we've endured so much together right around the same time of our life. And it's been 5 years since his instance and 6 years since my dad passed away. So maybe that's a story I might have him come on here and share with you guys. So just to disclose, he went through a hard time, and during that time he got divorced, and she wanted to be out, and he was going through a hard time. He didn't have a lot of fight left in him. So anyway, regardless, fast forward to where we are today. And I just really feel that greediness is setting in. He did not contest anything in the divorce that she asked for. And to me, I'm a fighter. I fight for what's right. I fight for what's fair. And I don't take any shit. And so it's just very difficult for me to see this loving man, you know, get taken advantage of. And so it's just very difficult for me. And this morning, some greediness got come into play. Over $32. Over $32, guys, let me tell you. And I just felt this hatred in my heart. And guys, I was like, man, I haven't felt like this in a long time. And it set me back 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Actually, 9 years ago. My dad, overdosed on morphine. He actually took 90 morphine pills. It ended him in a 6-week coma. Almost died. Had to be, revived. We ended up signing a DNR because they said his quality of life was so low. Ended up fighting through. He lived another couple years. But I just remember getting the phone call when he was in the hospital. And my dad went in the hospital a lot, so it wasn't new. It was like, all right, whatever. He'll be out in a couple days. And I remember my mom stopping me before I was going out to work. It was my spring break in college, so I was home working. And I remember her saying, your dad's in the hospital. All right, cool, whatever. I didn't care, guys. I didn't care. I didn't care if he died on the table. That's how bitter and pissed I was. Ridiculous. I am so thankful that I was able to forgive him. But guys, let me tell you, I had a huge wake-up call that day. My dad was on 5 different IV pumps. He had an IV pump in his neck. He was on as much medicine as they could give him to keep him alive. And he was restrained. They actually had to put this glaze over his eyes because his eyes were open, like wide open, and he was jolting, breathing. He had aspirated, so he had vomited into his lungs. My dad's a heavy smoker, so you can think of the complications with breathing and not being able to breathe on your own, and you add years of smoking into that. So anyway, I just remember sitting in that room with my stepmom and them saying, do you want to let him go? And I was like, yeah, let him go. No skin off my back. I won't have to deal with this anymore. Literally, that's what I thought, guys. 18 years old. This is how bitter I was. This is how calloused and hard and emotionless I was about my dad. My dad. And I just, oh my God, it's been so insane. I remember that night they called us back. And they called us back because they had to revive him. And I was sobbing into this blanket at the hospital. And I was praying. I was praying to whoever it was. At this time in my life, I wasn't a Christian. And I had no idea that, he could die and not go to heaven. And guys, I was so freaking pissed. I was so pissed and so selfish at this point in my life that the next day, we sat around for a few hours. It was like 2:00 in the morning. Sat around for a few hours, said our goodbyes. And I really did not know if my dad was going to live through the night. I got up. I didn't go to work. I called into work. And I remember clearing everyone out of the room. And, I remember saying, he doesn't know I did this. He didn't know that I forgave him. But I remember saying, Dad, I forgive you. I forgive you. And guys, the amount of anger that literally left my heart in that instance by saying, I forgive you, was an absolute life-altering, changing moment in my life. I mean, I was no longer angry. Anger was not an emotion that I allowed myself to feel or get to a point very easily. Now, I would get frustrated with myself in sports and things like that, but I don't ever recall feeling that bitterness until now. And I have worked so hard to not allow this. I did forgive myself. I worked so hard to not allow myself to ever feel this way. And I just encourage you guys, if you're struggling and, oh my God, my makeup. I don't even have that much makeup on. But if you feel yourself in a situation where you fester and get pissed about things that you can't control, because I can't control what's going on right now in my life. I can't control the lawyers or the time or her. I can't control her. I can only control myself. And in the beginning, I started taking it out on my husband, and it was so hard because I was such a bitch. I would just complain and complain and complain, and there's nothing I can do about it. Guys, there's nothing you can do about certain situations in your life. The only thing that you can control is how you respond to it. And so for me, it showed an immense growth this morning when I didn't get pissed off at Gabe for it. Over $32. You're really picking a fight over $32? When we pay you thousands of dollars, over $1,000 a month, and we pay for insurance and we cover them and we give them everything that they need, and we don't ask for anything except for time to see the children, and you're going to get pissed about $32? If you're getting pissed about $32, you might need to look at your budget. Anyway, there's my tiny little rant, because that's not the point of this. The point in this is that I'm sitting here telling you that bitterness started to build up. And I want to share with you that there is nothing I can do. Even though I think $32 isn't significant, it's significant enough to her, because it's a way to hurt him. And the only thing that we can control is that we go the legal route, and that's what we're doing. But don't let the bitterness control you, okay? Because when I let it in and I sit and fester and get pissed about it, who wins? Not me, not Gabe. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know I'm pissed. She doesn't even know that Gabe, it creates a rift in our marriage. Okay? I mean, kudos to those of you who are in blended families that can get along with your ex-spouses and your current spouses and whatever. I pray that one day, if we're ever in the same state again, that this is what can happen, because it is so wonderful for the children. And right now, it's probably not the greatest environment, okay? For them, being around her, going through what we're forcing to happen. And guys, I just encourage you, do not let the bitterness in. Do not let it control you, because the only one that bitterness hurts is you. The only one that bitterness hurts is the one who's bitter. Okay? There is nothing you can change about the way that people are. If they are nasty, if they are greedy, if they are hateful, conniving, manipulative, just negative, you can't change them. Period. The only thing that you can change is the way that you react. And the way that I have been praying and praying and praying and praying. And I was praying this morning. I was literally saying it out loud when I saw that text message, because my husband was in the shower. And I was like, Lord, help me love her. Help me love her. Because I don't right now. Help me love her, because the sooner that I can find love in my heart for the situation, for her, the sooner that little $32 thing doesn't bother me. And you know what? I win. She no longer has power over our emotions anymore. And if you have people like that in your life, that you just get this festering, this hatred for, love them. I encourage you to love them. We are called to love our enemies. Okay? And the only way that we are going to be able to make a difference and to be able to soften their heart is to soften ours and love them. Love them back. It is so hard. God, it is so hard. And it's just difficult. You know, when I thought of marriage, when I thought of starting a family, I did not think it would be a blended family. I did not. You know, and there were times where I was like, can I do this? Can I do this? But I've just changed so much in the process. And oh my gosh, I cannot express to you that freedom, the day that I got 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I sat next to my dad, what I thought on his deathbed, and I forgave him. I literally confessed it. I said, I forgive you. I forgive you for all the shit that you put me through. I forgive you for all the pain, for all the suffering that you have given yourself. You've given this family. You've put your parents through. You've just put this family through. And that is what addiction is, guys. Addiction is, an addict is selfish. Okay, and until they realize that, they are going to do whatever it takes to get the next fix. And I understand that. I didn't understand it until that day. You know, and I just wonder, had I forgiven him a long time ago, how much more time I could have had with him. Now, he's a Christian. He went to heaven. I actually witnessed to him. And it was the most amazing experience ever. So it was crazy how it all comes full circle. And so I just encourage you guys. This morning not this morning. I have felt bitterness in my heart since this whole process has started, since this whole, blended family has started. been 2.5 years, and I've experienced this. So it's getting easier. But now that, legal things are coming in play, I find myself like getting this freaking, I just can't stand it. I just get mad. I get frustrated. And I just encourage you to let it go. And that's something I've really been working on, is it's hard for me to let things go. It's not that I hold on to it. It's just that I just get so worked up sometimes that I'm like, it takes me so long to like get that blood pressure back down or something. But guys, bitterness is something that you must eliminate from your life right now. Right now. Get it out of your system. Whoever it is, if you have to physically go confess to whoever is causing this hatred and this bitterness, I encourage you to go to them and just say, I forgive you. I forgive you. I have forgiven you in my heart. And if they're like, what the hell are you talking about? What you forgive? I didn't do anything to you. They may or may not understand. But for you to physically, verbally confess, I forgive you. Oh my God, it's such an amazing feeling, because they no longer have control over you, even though they don't know they have control over you. Let it go. Let it go. No, I'm just kidding. So just literally forgive them. Forgive yourself. I mean, I remember my mom said this quite a few times to me. I feared that if your dad died today, years ago, or if your dad had died and you had not forgiven him, what that would have done to you. I mean, guys, I'm serious. I did not care if he died that day in the hospital. I did not care. No, I mean, it would have been, okay, it's one less thing I have to stress about. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to, get let down on these empty promises that I'm constantly being made, or these excuses that are constantly being given to me. As I really was at that point where I was like, see ya. All right. I had no concept. I had no concept of forgiveness. I had no concept that I was even that bitter, that I was even that hateful. And the amount of freedom that it's given me, I really have, I cannot wait until I can give that freedom to her and just say, that's fine. All right, cool. See ya, all right. And it since we have been, Gabe's really worked on this too, been killing with kindness, it's less anger. It's less anger that's given back. The conversations are so much nicer, and they're so much simpler, and they're not these hash out, scream out, brawls. It's just, okay, all right, cool. I'll write that down. We'll figure it out. All right, awesome. But money makes people just freaking mean, and it does. God just makes people mean. So I just encourage you to eliminate the bitterness. Forgive those who have hurt you and cause hatred in your heart, because it doesn't do anything except hurt you. Okay? They don't know that you're there. They don't know that you're like, oh my God, what a bitch. Oh my gosh, she's just so mean, or he's so hateful. And if you have bitterness towards your spouse, towards your parents, anything, a long life friend, whatever it is, forgive them. And if you don't feel like that you need to confess it to them physically, like in person, confess it out loud. Write it down, journal it. I forgive them. I forgive them for this. I forgive them in this. Forgive me for my hatred. I cannot believe that I've given this that much energy. I cannot believe. Good morning, Christy. Good, Deanna. I'm so glad. And those of you that have been leaving comments, I'm so sorry. They're so, they really distract me, and I just really want to get this out. And so I'm not ignoring you, and I appreciate those of you that are tuning in and commenting, and I'll go back and read them before I get off here. And guys, I just forgive them. Forgive them for everything. There's nothing in the world that gives me more peace than to forgive. And that's what it's supposed to be there for. I think it sets you free more than it sets anyone else free. It affects you more than it affects anybody else. And so I just encourage you guys to forgive. Eliminate that from your life. If you don't know how to, I would love to share with you how I kind of got over it. It's a process. It's not easy. But thanks, Holly. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up and going through things. I know she absolutely is angry with herself, and those that do know her and used to live here and be friends with her, that's exactly what they've said. And that she walked away from an amazing man and an amazing father. And I'm just so blessed that she did that, because now I have him. Tiffany, yeah, it's hard. You literally have to just, I forgive you. I do. And you're not going to forget. I'm not saying to forget. I'll never forget what I've went through. I'll never forget where I came from, because it keeps me going. It pushes me. But it's shown me how much growth I've had, and it is a process. What you put out, absolutely, Holly, is what you get. And sorry, I'm going through. Hi, Jesse. And I am free. I'm absolutely free. I'm happy. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. My mom's tuning in right now. She got the brunt of my anger in high school and in middle school. Oh my gosh, guys. We had it out. My mom and I literally had it out. I don't know how I still have my teeth. I don't know how she just didn't just knock them out of my face because I was freaking hateful. But I didn't understand. It had nothing to do with her and everything to do with what I was going through. Thank you, Deanna. Angelina, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that you went through that. Blended families are hard, Shiloh. Ooh, I don't know that I could have lunch with her right now. I mean, I want to. I want to be able to get to that point. And, I'm quiet because right now there's so much like frustration that if the times I have been around her, I'm like, I don't care for you. I don't care to be around you. You're not a person that I would want to be friends with anyway. So I wouldn't want to have that kind of negativity in my life. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going through. Yes, he hasn't tuned in yet though, Holly. Gabe does usually do. He tunes in. It's interesting yeah, and it's different, Shiloh, because we don't live in the same state, so it's not like we celebrate birthdays together or we spend time together or anything like that. Literally exchanges are at the airport or, in a fast food restaurant that we've met halfway across the country, and that's our exchanges. We don't have to have conversations. I mean, his conversations are just about the kids. Lately, it's been about money and legal crap, but anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in this morning. I encourage you to just forgive. Forgive those who have hurt you. Forgive those who have caused you pain. Forgive those that you've allowed to hurt you. Okay? And just let them go. Let it go. Okay? And I wish that I could give you a glimpse of who I used to be. And without grace and without the love of my family and the forgiveness of my family, I would not be, as lifted up as I am right now. And those of you that are supporting me here, I thank you so much. And I appreciate it. And if you did find value in this video, for those of you that have tuned in, I just encourage you to click that bottom left-hand button and share it, because guys, we are here to lift each other up. We are here to support one another, and we are here to share whatever works to help us get better in our lives. Because if we're better, our children are better. If we're happy, our home lives are happy. Okay? If we're happy, we're shedding light to those who may be in a dark place. And we have to be that light to other people in a dark place, because it's miserable to go through life living bitter and living in hatred, and I could sit here and make excuses why we're in a situation that we're in and blame her. Okay, but there's fault on Gabe's side too. But we're doing what it takes right now. We are fighting right now. And that's what I encourage you to do. Fight to get better. Fight to be happy. It's an everyday struggle. I say this almost every single time. People want to see you fail because it makes them feel better. It makes them feel like their lives are better, or yeah, they couldn't do it. I knew they couldn't do it. They find some satisfaction, but guys, that doesn't give them true happiness at all. At all. So I just encourage you to forgive, let it go, quit letting them have control over your life, and love them. Love them. Love them back. As hard as it is, love them back. And those of you that are tuned in replay, I encourage you, tuning in right now towards the end or replay, I encourage you to go back and watch the beginning. So, wow. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great, Holly. And I pray that I can be at that point someday. I pray that we are all in the same city so that we can see his kids more than a few times a year. And we're doing the steps necessary to do that. So pray for me. Keep me in your thoughts. Send good thoughts my way during this battle of, it's not custody, but it's just legal wording and making sure that things are right and fair. So just keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, keep our family in your thoughts. And, I'm a firm believer in karma. And the more that we fight good with that, we fight good back instead of, displaying hatred. I think God's going to rule in our favor. And we just have to kill them with kindness and kill them with love. And so I encourage you to do that if you're struggling right now. And so pray that it's a speedy process too, because I know some people it can drag out for a really long time. So I thank you guys so much. I do have to go. I have to get off to work. And thank you guys for having my morning coffee with me. I enjoy it every single time. And thank you all so much. You guys are so absolutely wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care and God bless.